Welcome back to Montana. Today's video, I'm going to be hardwiring power for a dash cam and my monitor for my trailer cam. That's a mouthful. And my 2018 Duramax. And this should work for most vehicles. Basically, as soon as you can find a fuse box, you're good to go. I had these in the ram and the windshield, and then on the back window, looking out over the bed on the back. But with the soft topper, I'm not going to mount a camera back there just yet. So I'm gonna get one of these mounted up to the front. I don't have these mounts anymore, so I actually have some double-sided tape Velcro strips coming. They should be here tomorrow, and they're rated for outdoor use, so that hopefully it'll withstand the heat. So what I'm gonna do is, I hate having these wires hanging out, so I'm gonna hardwire this just like I did in the Ram. The way I'm gonna do that is kill two birds with a stone. I've got a monitor up here for my trailer cam that's already hardwired with video. I've got the power wire routed down here, and it just kind of doesn't like to stay tucked. It's up here and hidden. I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is, this bad boy has a USB outlet on it. So I'm gonna take this apart and wire up the positive and negative on here to a fuse tap, and then simply just run USB into here. And then I'm gonna keep this actually inside this fuse panel in here wired up. So hopefully there'll be enough room to do that. Now that I'm thinking about it, my only downfall of that is this monitor will always be powered, and I'd have to turn it off, although it might not be a big deal. I might just pull the power over there. So this panel is one that doesn't like to come off easy, although technically it should. There we go. What you need to do is find one of these that's run on ignition only. Radio might be a good candidate. USB could be a good one too. Maybe that's what I'm gonna go for first, is number 27. So I was proactive the last time I was shopping for electronics, and I bought this, how many is even in here, 10 pack of added circuits. These things are great because they plug into the existing fuse, and then you have two circuits on here. So you put, the bottom was the existing circuit, so you put the original, in this case 10 amp fuse in here, and then you can run another fuse at the top for whatever circuit you're running. For using this connector, this has its own power draw in it. Yeah, so it's 3.5 amps. I'll probably run, if there's a 5 amp fuse, I'll probably run one of those. But that's all it's going to draw, and so I don't have to worry about blowing a fuse here. If you're not running one of these and you're hardwiring it, you're going to need to run you know, a fuse as close as possible to what you need. That way you don't blow out your equipment. Like if you were just to cut it here and hardwire this in, you wouldn't want to run it straight, because there's a potential of power spikes. So that could be an issue, as this is in fact, that is an issue. Man. So I was looking at these are larger, and I need to use the smaller fuse type, so I'm gonna find another one that's on. So basically, this is the route we go. You put the fuse in here for the existing circuit, and then you can tap it in here. So now should have power on here once there's a fuse in there. Still working. So then once I tap positive into here, I need to tap ground in here. This should be a good grounding point. I'm trying one of these for ground, but I might need to use one of these guys up here. The idea is I don't need to mess with much of this in here. Just need to run a positive lead here, and then a negative lead to these guys out here. You could desolder these guys, right? And desolder this, and then I could run a positive lead here and then a negative lead here, and probably just put some hot glue on it. You know what? I'm probably gonna bite the bullet and pull this USB cable so that I can just go in the shop and do all the work a little bit easier. I'm gonna have to run the other cable anyway. So I just tuck this. Did I tuck this? No, I didn't. So some better helping hands are definitely on my list post move, and forgive the mess here, but I'm just gonna try and quickly get this solder heated up and remove these guys. Breathe those fumes in for extra health points. These helping hands are a little better. Might have a little more help here. There we go. Just need 1 point of negative contact anyway. So I could just solder this here, but I want a little bit more working room inside the truck, so I'm gonna connect up a longer piece of wire here. I'm not so much concerned about the gauge here because it's not a lot of a power draw. Just trying to stay consistent with the colors. You don't really have to, but it's always nice when you keep everything consistent. Red for positive, black for negative. Shrink tube is nice and all the rage, but electrical tape is just fine. And don't criticize my my splice here. There's a couple things you don't do on the internet, and that's weld and solder. And you don't have to solder these. They're not like a mission critical thing. I mean, obviously, dash cam, you kind of don't want it to fail on you in an accident, so it'd be good to have it soldered. But if all you got is electrical tape or butt connectors, you'll be fine. That's one thing you don't like, with these tend to get stuck. You know, a little bit, there we go. We're in business. So now that this is all connected up for positive, I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of room, don't need too much. There should be more than plenty. Could even come back to bite me as too much, but I'd rather have too much than too little. Spice this guy. Okay. I'll put links below to this kit and other stuff if you're interested. Some better than nothing in here. Let's see. So this guy is like this. Here we go. So now I just need to put some sort of grounding on here. I could just loop it around the bolt, but let me see if I have anything. I've got a few items here. I'm not sure which ones are going to fit. Kind of have these fork style too, which might be a good idea. I want to go see on the truck which one's better. This guy seems to fit around the lower bolt, the smaller bolt. I have a love-hate relationship with crimp fittings. So I got a little selection of fuses here. I don't know that we're going to draw more than 3 amps, but I'm going to grab a 3 and a 5 and we'll go from there. So these cameras don't have any specs on them, but they ran off of USB power. So obviously they're 5 volt and a couple amp. We got a 4 and a 5. I'm going to run the 4 first. If it pops, we'll run the 5. But basically, just going to go right in here. Get this negative post on here. Now there is metal behind this plastic, so I'm hoping that with the metal bolt it'll be enough for a ground. But not the power, Captain. Yeah, we got power. Yeah, all right. Let's test it up to the monitor. Yep, good to go. And yes, I know that's upside down. The video comes through the right way. USB in here. I'm gonna keep it off for now. Take a camera. There's a lead in here. Looks like we're in business. And with both on, yeah. So let's get this tucked and put away. It looks like we're gonna have another problem. The vehicle is off right now and I've got power. So I need to find something that's on ignition. I just put this one on. I don't have to take that bolt all the way off anymore. So it'll make it a little bit easier. So I've got these inline fuse holders. It's really more meant to run like an accessory. You know, like you wire up a fog light harness or something. And this just runs inline. It'll just give you a loop and you gotta cut it. So the gauge of this obviously is much thicker than we need. So I will solder these up, and then when I get the blade fuse, it'll go here. So I'm back. I got the taps. They came in a 4-pack. So basically this is the tap. The fuse rides in it like this. And then this goes in, and then you've got this connector for up here. I don't really like this just the way it has an exposed lead, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm going to get this crimped on and hooked up, and we'll go to the truck. So in case this lead is live, to minimize my exposure, I'm just gonna hook it up to start. Let this be my lesson to you to do your research first, like I should have done. But the driver's side is the only side that has ignition switched fuses. Some of them are the SEO or the wrap ones, but I'm going off the ignition for the HVAC. It's not a big deal for the dash cam because right here, but then I got to run the other wire all the way over. And I believe the video wire is down this side as well, so it's going to be a lot to kind of tuck up under the headliner. So let's see if it's actually powered off of ignition here. Yep, look at that. And let's turn the ignition off. Ignition off, yep, awesome. So now I just have to route this wire and the USB up through here and along the headliner. So now I've got to route the wires over here, and I don't need to take off the trim, I just need to take off the door seal. It just pulls off. It's like the worst part because I don't want to mar this trim here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, there's clips. I did not want to impede this airbag. So I've kind of got them tucked up behind the headliner here. With a little bit of room of this guy hanging down. A little bit of room here, which I can tuck up once I pick the position of the dash cam. And then I'm gonna, got some small zip ties, so I'm gonna run these down here. Use some small zip ties, kind of like GM did. Get this harnesses down there, and then I think we'll be golden. The trim is back on. It's nice knowing that all the wires are tucked and out of the way of the airbag. I pulled the headliner down pretty far, so I think they're pretty good up there. When I mount the cam tomorrow, that should be good. Can't quite tuck it all up because this headliner doesn't have any room to move, and then there's the bar for the mirror. But I think, at least from the driver's perspective and most views, you're not going to see that. So I'm okay with that for now. Maybe another day I'll get a little creative and pull this off. I think this is what's holding it all on there. Now it's time to clean up these guys a little bit, and I can put this door trim back. There you go, go down over there. It's not so steep that way. Very cool. Scared me there for a minute. Tucked out of the way nicely. There we go. So it's the next day, and the Velcro strips came. So I'm probably gonna have to trim these down to fit. I got these like outdoor ones, thinking that, you know, that it's gonna be in direct sunlight, and other adhesives were always failing. So hopefully this will be enough. I'm gonna have to trim them down. I also keep these wipes, glass wipes in the car. So I'm hoping this will be good enough to clean off the residue and be good for sticking it. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna mount it yet, but I want to make sure that the mirror isn't obstructed, that it can sit in the right position for me, and then also get the camera in there. So if you have a new camera, it'll usually come with an adapter plate, so you don't have to do all this, but I'm reusing this camera, and I left the adapter plate in the old truck that I sold. Just going to cut these a little narrower. That should be good. Get one side here and the other side on the window. So I'm going to turn the ignition on and hook this up so that I can see where the camera is facing. I don't want to obscure it behind there because I want to be able to get to it. So that's actually pretty good right about there. This is always the most nerve-wracking part, but at least with Velcro I can reposition it a little bit. I think we're in business. And the monitor is actually staying off. I turned it off last time. I think it stays off unless I turn it on. Yeah, there we go. So, which is great. So I don't have to turn it off every time I get in the car. Well, this turned out better than I thought as far as the Velcro. I'd almost recommend that more than the stock mount for the camera. But this video helped you out. I hope it did. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, may God bless you and keep standing up for what's right.